Hey, did you have something you wanted to say NFL-wise?
Or
did you want to go off the end?
I'm ready to talk Lions OTAs a little bit.
Okay, let me go ahead. Take us there.
Take us there.
You asked me a week ago what I was most excited to see, and I basically talked about the rookies.
Yeah, because it was rookie camp, so it was a great rookie camp.
But I went over somebody that I and the rest of Detroit has never seen before.
Offense or defense?
He's on offense, and we've had him for a full year.
Antoine Green?
Hendon Hooker.
Oh, well,
So
do you want to see him?
Well, I mean, everybody in Detroit wants to see him. I don't want to see him because I'm talking quarterback controversy, but this is a third-round pick that already is. There's some trade talk around the league of guys that might want this, teams that might want this kid. But as Lions fans, we've never seen him. He was injured last year coming in. We didn't get a chance to see him in preseason. They did. There wasn't.
And we're not going to see him.
Well,
that's the thing. We're never really going to know what he could be. And a New York Giant writer,
there you go,
put it out there yesterday. Should the Giants talk to the Lions to trade for Hendon Hooker? Because the Lions sure aren't going to use him unless, of course, God forbid, Jared Goff goes down with an injury. We're never going to see this guy.
Yeah, I'm going to knock on wood on that one. What will be the
3 years? He'll be 30.
He'll be 29.
Yep, sounds like 30 to me. Round up.
Well, actually, no, 26, 27, 28. So, yeah, 20.
It's 30. I'm 30. You got past 26.
A 30-year-old rookie?
Let me ask you this, Maz. What
You're not intrigued to see him, though?
I want to see him.
Okay. That's
We're
what I
not
want to
going
know.
to.
Because nobody's seen him. There was no OTA talk. There was no preseason look. We never got a chance to look at him in a Lions uniform. He's changed his number, and we're actually going to get a look at this.
Is that on purpose? Is that because you don't want people to see him so that his draft or his trade value is still high or higher than it would be?
I don't know, man. But right now, the way it sits, they literally drafted a backup quarterback in the third round of a draft.
Okay, let me ask you this. If he was healthy and came out this year, he'd have been taken right around Michael Penix, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we traded a third-round pick last year for a first-round pick this season, correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Moving forward, this is a guy that if we got a trade offer, Maz, what would it take to pry him from you? Would you give him up for a third-round pick?
I don't know what he is.
Well, but neither does New York.
I want at least my third-round pick back that I used on him.
That's what I'm asking. Would you take a third-round back, or would you want more?
If I know Jared Goff's my guy, and I can go sign a backup just to back him up, yeah, I'd trade him. Otherwise, what good is he?
Jordan Love didn't get traded, and he looks pretty good right now.
Jordan Love was a young man when he was drafted.
I also think so, too. Like, there's a difference in drafting someone that you are drafting to take over a franchise. Jordan Love was drafted to be the heir apparent for Aaron Rodgers when they were to make that move.
You don't think Hendon was?
Hendon Hooker was drafted because, one, he was a first-round potential talent that tore his ACL, so no Heisman Trophy, gets to the third round. We can pick him up in the third round. And if this Jared Goff experiment doesn't work, because, yeah, he was 3-13 his first year here, 3-13-1. Yeah, he was 9-8, and they almost made the playoffs. But almost is a hell of a thing compared to actually did. I think it was a fallback plan. And then when Jared goes off and does what he does in 2023, gets to the NFC Championship and finishes top 5 again, okay, we don't need this backup plan. But now let's put the back plan on the burner so you don't get to see him too. The less you see somebody, the higher the value is. Look at Justin Fields this year, what he went for. Look what Mac Jones did this year. Look what he went for.
Yeah, for nothing.
Look what Trey Lance went for a year before.
Bag of balls.
No, he went for a third-round pick.
Yeah,
he went for more.
Both of those guys went for 6th-round picks because you ain't see Trey Lance.
That's true.
Right.
So you're thinking, like, what could he be? So I wouldn't show Hendon Hooker at all.
Now,
So
I look back at that draft and go back to that draft where Hendon Hooker was picked. If you look, was it last year?
It was last year.
Okay, go to that. And then they took him, I think, 6th in the third round. So he was a high pick in the third round.
Yeah.
Everyone underneath him that they could have taken instead of him, no one really sticks out like, oh, wow, they could have had this guy. There are a few of them, and it's early yet. But I think they took him for just in case that Jared Goff didn't really take him to that NFC Championship game or win a playoff game. If he didn't win a playoff game last year, guys, would we have seen Hendon Hooker this year?
Number 5, and you know who went right after him? Tank Dell. He would look pretty good in Honolulu blue.
And the Lions need a wide receiver too. They need one.
But don't forget the year prior to that they took
Jameson. But you still like you.
I know.
You can get that value wide receiver in the third. You take it. At the same time, I agree with you, Maz. I think we're saying the same thing. But the reason why the Lions never have to worry about that, anything that happens with Hendon Hooker is going to be a bonus.
Yeah.
Because as opposed to looking at the pick for we missed out on Tank Dell or what we potentially could have gotten, just look at the four that went before him. You got Sam Laporta, you got Jameer Gibbs, Jack Kemp, and Brian Branch.
I get it.
I think those four hit in such a way, pause, that it doesn't matter what Hendon Hooker is or isn't because of how well you already struck gold in that draft.
I get it. I totally get it. But if you go back to like the Cowboys draft or the San Francisco 49ers drafts back in the day, how you really build your team all the way, build it. I mean, third round, that's high to take a guy that you're probably not going to use. Now, I put the question out to you guys, and I think it's a pretty good topic. If Jared Goff had not won a playoff game last year, would we have had a chance to see Hendon Hooker play this year?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
And I don't think Goff would have gotten paid either had he not won. And this is just he won, so it's moot.
I think yes, and the reason why yes, because if you're slating it out the same way that it played out, that means they would have played Matt Stafford Rams in the first round. That means we're saying they would have lost to the Matt Stafford Rams, which they almost did anyway.
Correct, 1 point.
But 100% and two blown calls, one on Puka, one on Matt Stafford.
And the Rams were driving at the end.
So if that happens, now you're looking at a situation. Why do we lobby for? I mean, why are we happy Jared Goff got paid? Because he won 2 playoff games. Because he almost won a third.
Should have.
100%. You're looking at that. So you're like, well, he did this, so I validate him getting paid. If he doesn't do that, people still are not happy with the Jared Goff
even
contract
though he did what he did
after the 2 wins.
Yeah.
So to your point, 100%, we would have saw him in a space or seen him in space, so they would have shown him a little bit more in OTAs. It was showed him more in minicamp. They'll show him more in training camp, and they'll start to create just a natural quarterback controversy. If a guy doesn't win a playoff game and you draft a third rounder that could have been a first rounder the year before, it's a natural storyline right there for a QB comparison.
Especially in Detroit.
They're still ready to get rid of Jared Goff.
No doubt about it. There's still people calling for Hendon Hooker after we gave Goff the money.
And he won 2 games, should have won a third. That was not his fault.
But they're separated by 4 years, all right? Goff's going to turn 30 this season. Hendon Hooker's 26. There's a scenario here for me that in 3 years, if they don't win a championship, you will see Hendon Hooker under center for this team. Period.
I'd say, yeah.
So I want to see him. Every other team does too. I get the idea of hiding him and driving that value, but all he has to do is come out and show one good half in preseason, and that value doubles.
This is true. This is true. So I guess you got to get him ready for the season. But we got a guy in Ben Johnson he's ready to rock and roll too. You know, you look at what that offense has been, and that's something I'm ready to see evolve as well, Maz. You look at what Ben Johnson's offense has been. It's 2 years now. This will be his 3rd year as offensive coordinator, and the offense has gotten better and better. The only time his offense is really stalled, if you want to be honest, is when Frank Ragnow was hurt.
Yep.
Outside of that, the offense has thrived every year, and I think now he gets a chance to use maybe the shiniest new tool in the shed, although it's not new, Jameson Williams. I think when Ben can build that trust and they can establish something.
I know we ask this almost every other week, but here it is, Jameson Williams. It's his first year. Let's just say it. It's his first year. He's not a rookie anymore. He's not injured anymore.
He's not suspended anymore.
He's nothing. He's got a full year. What do you want out of him? What do you expect out of him? What is a good season? What is a great season for him? And what is a disappointing season?
Well, I kind of want to ask that question in the sense of what's the over-under on his targets this year? What would you say?
I couldn't guess.
90? 95? 100?
I'd say 85 targets.
Okay.
So you're going to use him out of the backfield too, running reverses and all of that kind of jazz.
If Lion fans are looking for a certain amount of catches and a certain amount of yards, you're looking for the wrong thing. What you need to do is look at what this kid provided in the NFC Championship, and that's game-breaking plays. This guy's never going to be an 8, 9, 10 target per game guy. He doesn't have the hands to. But he can break any game open at any moment on any play he touches the ball. So I think, setting that over-under, I would go under 95.
Yeah.
Which probably puts him in the realm of 65 for maybe 750. But if we see 10 touchdowns out of this kid,
then that's a win.
The whole offense changes.
Yes, that's a win.
This is what I put down when you asked about realistic expectations for Jameson Williams. I put down with 60, 1080, 7 touchdowns.
1080?
1080.
Wow.
I mean, he is a yards after catch guy. This is why we drafted him out of Alabama. If you're trying to get the max out of him, if you're trying to go back and recoup 2 years at 12th pick overall where you moved up 20 picks to do, you got to stop looking at this kid in that light. That ship has come and sailed. Now, you want this guy to be a player to the tune of Amon-Ra St. Brown can have more success in his offense. Sam Laporta, more success. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, more success in his offense. And whoever is the third wide receiver option. You give him 60, 1087, that's not asking a lot. There's 17 games now in the NFL. You're on the best offense in the NFL that was last year. They scored the most touchdowns in the NFL last year without you. Get rid of Josh Reynolds. I'm telling you, 1080 is not too much to ask for in this offense, 7 touchdowns and 60. And then also, like you said, he's a dual threat guy. He had a reverse for a touchdown in the championship. They'll find ways to use he and Jahmyr Gibbs similarly. Look for 12 touches, look for 200 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns from the rushing aspect of it.
Yeah, if he hits 1,000+ yards from scrimmage, both receiving and on the ground, it's going to be a really, really dangerous offense.
Absolutely.
He will have graduated.
Almost unstoppable.
Yeah, he will have truly graduated to that number 2 receiver, and he will make us all forget the name Josh Reynolds.
He might be a number 1 receiver. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
that's why they drafted him. They drafted him to be a number 1 receiver.
Yep.
Amon is supposed to be a number 2 receiver. Am I wrong on this one?
You mixed a lot of things in there. 100%. Amon-Ra St. Brown is supposed to be the number 2. Jameson Williams is supposed to be the number 1. It didn't happen like that, but maybe you got lucky and got 2 ones.
Correct.
Maybe it allowed Amon-Ra St. Brown to develop as a 1, now the highest paid number 1 in the NFL, or the number 3 highest paid in the NFL. And then maybe Jameson Williams, look, he was young, he was injured, something happened, mental distraction. There's already a young, fractured psyche. Now you got a guy, like you said, experience, time, and trust. It changes who a player can be, and it changes the complexity of what he can potentially do. So I think this is the year we really judge Jameson Williams. I think the past is done. I think this is the year you say
absolutely
what he is.
If he's a 1,000-yard receiver, can you imagine what St. Brown's going to be?
1,500.
The whole team.
Think about it.
Sam Laporta.
Think.
There's almost not enough yards to go around.
Correct.
If everybody's doing this, how many passing yards is Jared Goff gonna have? Like, we start throwing numbers like 1,000.
What's the record?
Sam Laporta 1,000.
What's the record for a regular season? It's got to be Dan Marino, right?
No, 54, 55. Peyton.
Peyton Manning?
Peyton. 55 touchdowns and 54.
There's no reason that Jared Goff can't hit that number.
Yeah, there's a big reason.
54-77.
I was off by 3 yards.
There's a big reason why.
There's a big reason why, because nobody else has hit it yet. Patrick Mahomes has tried. Josh Allen has tried.
Patrick Mahomes don't have the team around him that this team does.
This is
Think about that. Isn't that something?
Ryan Ermanni has always said there'd be a 6,000-yard passing quarterback. I told him he's crazy, but hey, look, what if? Wow. He's not going for 50.
If the Lions
Jared Goff can't even get past 4,800.
If the Lions need to throw for 6,000 yards, this isn't the team that we're hoping for.
Yeah,
they 100%. Don't need to throw that much.
Like, Jared Goff doesn't need to have more. Like, if Jared Goff had 5,000, I think 5,000 be the mark. Then I'm like, all right, no more. Like 5,000-yard passing.
That means if we're throwing for 6,000 yards, that means our defense is not good.
And it also means, where the hell is Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, 100%.
There's so much talent, man. It makes me laugh.
The fact that
makes me laugh.
The fact that we can have this what if type of conversation, it's gonna be a what if season, man.
We're talking about the Lions. We're talking about the Lions.
Lions
and their endless list of weapons.